What is up, guys and girls? Hurricane Liz here, and today we're going to look and predict what will sell well in the month of June. And the way we're going to use this is with a super secret tactic, and I think you're going to be surprised at what you should start producing for June. I would never guessed it. I know you're never going to guess it, so let's go in and do this. All right, so I'm here using my favorite tool to pretty much go back in time and then figure out what is going to sell in June. And like I said, odds that it sells well in June are very high because these books sold well last June. So we can take a look at a lot of seasonal things that will sell well and pretty much almost seem like we're predicting the future. So let's get those books ready and let's use Black Box from Helium 10. So I'm here in Black Box. All I got to do is click on Black Box. And then here's what you have to select within Black Box. I'm going to go down to categories and I'm going to check off books. And then I'm going to scroll down here, and this is a really ninja tactic that I like to use. I click on advanced filters and I go ahead and pick right here, best sales period. I will go to 2020 and pick on June, and boom, we're ready to rock and roll. I'm going to hit search and it's going to come back with all the hottest selling books last June. So here they are. In no particular order. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sort them by the amount of money that they made so we see who was making the most money. And I might have to click that twice. There we have it. And we can see that the #1 overall seller for books last June was Percy Jackson and the Olympians. So obviously we can't do anything with that, but we want to keep scrolling through and see what else we see. Like here's a book on fasting. Here is a book, Hair Love. So this is an African-American book that looks to be popular right here. And then here is culturally responsive teaching the brain. I guess something about being smarter. I certainly need that. Let's see what else we see. The Hate You Give. So another African-American book. This is based on a movie. So potentially that movie could have come out and spurred some more interest in people talking about even Black Lives Matter. That could have happened at the time. When God Made You. Again, it's a picture of a little girl on there, and I Am Enough. So obviously, there's something going on with the African-American culture here. Like I said, it could have been that movie that came out. It could have been the time when Black Lives Matter really started to come to the forefront in a lot of topics that people wanted to talk about. So it could have also been Black History Month. There's several different reasons those could be popping, but chances are if they pop last June, I would certainly look to see if it was some sort of Black History Month, but I would bet or make a bet that this June, they're going to be just as hot. Here's Born a Crime, Stories from a South African Childhood. So again, the theme continues, and I think we see something that's not just luck. There is a pattern as to why these books are at the forefront. And Get Your Head Study Guide, I'm not sure what that is, Cognitive Behavioral Therapy, and I do need glasses. Now here's another one, The Proudest Blue, A Story of Hijab and Family. I'm guessing that's something revolving around the Muslim culture. So obviously cultural diversity, minorities is hot in June. That's what I would be pushing so far from what I could see here. Bedtime Stories. And then let's see if we see anything else. Skin Like Mine, again, the LSAT prep. We talked about potentially titling a journal that helps people study for the LSAT or motivates them to study through the LSAT. All those standardized tests, that could be done, an idea of that sorts, as well as the LSAT relief coloring book, something that relieves people that are studying like mad for the LSAT and all the other standardized tests. It allows them to just kind of get over the anxiety associated with those. And a lot of adults do that by coloring. So that's certainly a great idea. Here's Bugs, as we know, hot. Here's a book for Bestie, a fill-in book. So we all know about fill-in books and being hot. And here's another book, I Love About You fill-in book. And that's another fill-in book. So fill-in books are pretty hot as well. And here's a book about the earth. So there's a potential that it could have been Save the Earth Month, something of that nature, but that was hot as well. So that's another fantastic idea. Did $40,000, which is a significant amount. So if there is a holiday for Earth in June, it's probably a good idea to do some sort of coloring book or activity book, even for kids that revolves around the Earth, specifically in the month of June. All right, so another racial book and a book about a new kid, and I Can Do Hard Things, Mindful Affirmations for Kids. So I see a lot of affirmation books for kids sold, particularly in the Kindle space, even in the audiobook space. But how about a coloring book for kids that talks about affirmations? It could just be words that kids have to say with slap a damn unicorn on there, and it'll probably sell. All All right, and as we keep going, we see that there's more race books. There's a Dream Big book, and let's see, we'll go one more page, check out what's there, and then we'll jump into something like coloring books and possibly even activity books to see if we see anything else that pops up. Here we've got some birds. We've got the Ultimate Self-Esteem Workbook for kids. So again, a self-esteem workbook for teens. This could be done for kids in the form of either an activity book or a coloring book. You can do a ton of things. You can even do a diary and or a journal for kids with self-esteem issues. And let's see, I think that's probably going to be about it. Here's the why a daughter needs a dad. So clearly the Father's Day niche is hot. This book is leading the charge. We saw this book last time on the Hot 5. Brand new release ideas on KDP, and not only did the dad version sell well, but the mom version sold extremely well. So there's a lot of different things you can do with that, and bugs, and again, same thing keeps coming up over and over again. So we can make a pretty educated prediction as to what is going to sell well this June. So let's go ahead and now take a look at the specific keyword coloring. So I'm just going to punch in coloring here, and then I want to see what pops up. First, I need to learn how to spell coloring, which is clearly a problem. Now, if I just hit search, it takes black box just a couple seconds, and it would actually help if I hit coloring, or if I put coloring in the title section. So now we've got it. Now we've got these sorted. Let's make sure we have sorted by revenue. And yes, this in fact is the top selling coloring book, The Art of Coloring Disney Animals. Here is another one, Magical Wildland Coloring Page for Adult, featuring enchanted magical land fairies, ladies, and flowers. Here again, another African-American book, 24 Shades of Business. I like the way they did that. It's kind of a play on words with 50 Shades of Grey, or whatever that book was called, and that lousy movie, right? So this one is extremely good. Mermaids and the incredibly vulgar and depraved coloring book for adults. Here's letter tracing for kids, and here's another dirty and offensive coloring book for adults. So back in June, if we recall, we were in the midst of COVID and the pandemic, and there was probably a lot of adults losing their shit and full of anxiety, full of uncertainty. So they were coloring their sweet little hearts out, and who can blame them, right? We were among those people. So that is clearly something that came up. It could also be because kids were home so long. And the same thing's going to happen now. Kids that are actually attending school that are going to be at home during the month of June because school's out. Adults' anxiety is probably at a yearly high in June. So pretty decent amount of dirty curse word adult books. And here we have Native American designs and some kind of fashion book, which we've talked about in the past. The Naughty and Nice Adult Coloring for Your Sweetheart and for You. So again, that's about the second one that we've seen about love. We saw a fill-in book with love, and now a Naughty and Nice coloring book for your sweetheart and you. That's another interesting one. So there could be some sort of love theme, like couples might have wanted to spend more time together. So that's another theme that you certainly could explore. We've talked about flowers, and here's the Rainbow Friends Coloring and Multicultural Coloring Book. So again, a book about diversity. As I spoke earlier, diversity extremely hot during the month of June. I would certainly jump in on that niche and pounce on it like a baby cheetah, right? All right, so let's take a look at another keyword, and then we will call this a video. I think you've got plenty of ideas to work with, but I'm going to search activity, and once again, we're not going to do anything different, but we're going to make sure these are sorted by monthly revenue. We definitely want to see the best sellers for activity last June. And so here we go. We've got reading comprehension and mermaids, as well as Arabic study. Here's a very interesting one that did $809 and has done overall 935 sales over the course of a year. It's a Family is Changing drawing and activity book for kids of divorce. Now, I would imagine that there's not that much competition for that book, but 1,000 books have sold for that. And let's face it, a lot of the books, the interiors, you can customize them for almost any sort of instance with just words or things of that nature. So a lot of times the inside can almost be considered generic, and then the cover is really the important big seller. Now, in the long run, you obviously want to make as decent amount of content as you can inside and make it really valuable for people. But really, when you first start, the cover is what clearly matters the most to get sales. The interior is going to help you get reviews. So if you want to pour your heart and soul into it, then obviously do the whole thing real well. But if you first start out, you got to learn how to make covers in order to make people click and in order to make people sell. So this one, I imagine not too much competition. Fantastic for somebody brand new starting out that really wants to create a nice little book and customize it, all for kids that are suffering from parents divorcing, right? And that was probably a lot at the time because, again, it was a June, right in the midst of COVID. Parents were stuck together, and divorce rates were probably higher than ever because people had to learn how to deal with each other's shit, because they're together 24/7 now. So a huge change for most people. Here's another activity book about skin color. And then we've got some animal sticker books, summer activity book, clearly in June. Summer is trending, so if you don't have your summer books out yet, you should get them in because you got to start advertising on those puppies in order to make some sales. We got a book about sharks, which incidentally is perfect timing, right? We're all going to be in the ocean. We all might see a shark in the distance, hopefully not right in front of us, because then you won't be watching this video too much longer. So stay safe out there in the ocean, people. All right, what else we got? This is one of my favorites. Like, I'm going to go bananas about this one right now. I just saw it. Puppies and PJs. This is a sticker activity book, but hey, you don't need stickers. Puppies and PJs are some of the cutest shit that I've ever even heard of, but that leaves a lot of room for kitties in their jammies, for baby animals, all sorts of baby animals in jammies. People would love that. We just saw the baby animal book on the last Hot 5, and any type of baby animal in their PJs, I'm sure people would totally lose it and go crazy about that, right? I certainly would. I would want that book, and I want that book, and I'm not even a kid, and I don't even color. So what does that tell you about how cute puppies in PJs are? Especially when you put, this looks like a weenie dog. So especially when you put a weenie dog in pajamas, I mean, how cute is that? It's an extra long pajama. That is amazing. So other than that, here we got construction trucks and jungle animals, as well as Alice in Wonderland. And I think we're going to call it a wrap. Here's the summer journal. So that's the last one. I think that's very fitting that we stop right there because summer is coming. Not winter, it's summer that's coming. So let's get out there, let's get some books made, and then let's enjoy ourselves during the summer with all the extra money we've made. So I hope you liked this video. Let me know in the comments and or questions what you have to talk about, and I will certainly respond to those personally. But other than that, I will see you all very soon.